In this video, we're going to explore what prayer is, why we need to pray, how Baha'is pray. Then we're going to talk about the Baha'i obligatory prayers. Let's get into it. So, what is prayer? Prayer is food for the soul. The same way our bodies need food and water to maintain themselves and develop properly, our souls need prayer for our spiritual nourishment and health. Prayer deepens our connection with our Creator and increases our universal love and draws our hearts closer to God. Prayer is conversation with God. The Baha'i writings state, "There is nothing sweeter in the world of existence than prayer. The most blessed condition is the condition of prayer and supplication." So, why do we need prayer? Well, from the Baha'i revelation, we know that we can't fully understand our spiritual nature or our soul, that it's a mystery from God. But we do know that its development is exceptionally important. Baha'u'llah says, "Wert thou to attain to but a dewdrop of the crystal waters of divine knowledge, thou wouldst readily realize that true life is not the life of the flesh, but the life of the spirit." It is our true life, and it's the part of ourselves that is eternal. It exists completely outside of the physical order. And it's been my experience that without intentionally connecting to our divine nature, our souls, it's easy for a person to forget that that part of us exists. Prayer is a way for us to unlock the powers inherent in our souls, the powers that allow us to enrich our own lives and the lives of those around us. It's also really natural for us to pray for assistance. We need assistance navigating life, developing our own souls and characters, increasing our good qualities, overcoming negative qualities, figuring out problems, accomplishing goals, all while dealing with the sometimes just harsh realities of life. Baha'u'llah is careful to eliminate as much ritual from his faith as possible. There is an incredible diversity in the human race, culturally, individually, and we need a certain degree of freedom to express ourselves spiritually. Everyone is free to pray in the way that they feel best helps them connect with God. Some cultures dance things out, some cultures like soft music, some chant their prayers. There are no formulas in the Baha'i Faith. That being said, here's a formula just gleaned from insights that I got in the writings that may be useful to you in your path to discovering your relationship with prayer. 5 tips. Tip number 1, focus your mind on God. Prayer is conversation with God. So just as with any other conversation, to get the most out of it, you need to focus your attention on your conversation partner. To help focus our minds on God, some Baha'is repeat the greatest name of God, Allah Pa, which means God is the most glorious, or Ya Baha'u'llah Pa, which is a little jazzier, which means, O thou glory of glories. And collective prayer is great. Baha'is do it all the time, but the majority of the prayers you say in your life are going to be personal, just you and God. And we're guided to pray in the privacy of our own chambers, to eliminate as many distractions as possible. Before we pray, we should do our utmost to focus our minds on God. Tip number 2, use the prayers of the manifestations of God. The words of the messengers, or manifestations of God as they're referred to in the Baha'i Faith, are just the most powerful possible words. So when we pray, we know that their words have the greatest power to move us into the state and attitude of true prayer. Baha'u'llah revealed numerous prayers for different occasions and situations. much more than in any other religion. And we can use them to connect with God and ask for assistance or guidance or clarification, or just to express our gratitude at being alive and our thankfulness for all the blessings we've been given. Also, everyone talks to God in their own words at certain points. And, when we have very specific situations, we use our own words to pray. But we also make sure to use the words of the manifestations in our prayers as much as possible. Tip number 3, sing. There's a beautiful quote from Baha'u'llah about prayer. He says, "Intone, O my servant, the verses of God that have been received by thee, as intoned by them who have drawn nigh unto him, that the sweetness of thy melody may kindle thine own soul and attract the hearts of all men." So we put our prayers into tones, and we sing or chant, or if we simply recite, we recite them in a way that moves ourselves. And if we pray with others, that moves them, touches them. Sing. Tip number 4, memorize. Memorizing the writings of the manifestations of God can have profound effects on our hearts and minds, engraving them on our spirits. When we memorize prayers, we have the power of those words with us at all times and in every place we go. It's always been easier for me to use the words of the manifestations, and that helps me feel like I'm in a true state of prayer when I'm reciting from memory instead of reading those prayers from a book. Tip number 5, meditate. It's kind of funny because most thinking about meditation or prayer in the Western world is for us to achieve some inner peace or overcome some inner obstacle. But in the Baha'i Faith, prayer is fundamentally connected to service and connected to action. We don't seek enlightenment only for our own sakes, but because of the power it gives us to serve our families and communities and all of humanity. There's a great quote from the guardian of the Baha'i Faith. "It is not sufficient to pray diligently for guidance, but these prayers must be followed by meditation as to the best methods of action, and then action itself." Baha'u'llah has endowed certain prayers with special potency. Among these are the 3 daily obligatory prayers: a short prayer to be recited between noon and sunset, a medium-length prayer for the morning, noon, and evening, and a longer prayer for once in a day. Baha'is commit to performing one of these daily as our circumstances allow and as our hearts need. When talking about the long obligatory prayer he revealed for his followers, Baha'u'llah said, "In truth, if it be recited to a rock, that rock would stir and speak forth. And if it be recited to a mountain, that mountain would move and flow." Through these daily prayers, we affirm our devotion to God, seek guidance and strength in our journey toward spiritual excellence. In wrapping up today's exploration of prayer, we see a profound and multifaceted approach to spiritual development and communion with the divine. Prayer isn't merely a placating ritual, but vital nourishment for the soul, a way to align our will with the divine will, and an expression of love and devotion towards God. Through prayer, Baha'is aim to foster a deeper understanding of their spiritual identity, enhance their connection with God, and to develop the strength to positively contribute to the world around them. Peace.